Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video, and welcome to a new champion video. This is for Briar the Vampire. So yeah, a new champion already, feels quite quick, but Riot sometimes does this, that a champion has just come out and boom, here's another one. This champion, this video we're gonna go over abilities and explain a few things, because I was in the dev meeting a few days ago, so I actually have a bit more insight of what she's all about. I will say she has the potential to be League's most crazy champion. It is a Riot August champion, so that probably tells you everything you need to know. But yeah, we'll see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. As an exciting thing, obviously, of this video, we'll actually give away the champion and her launch skin. If you want to enter for that, be a subscriber, like the video, and just comment what you think about the champion. Make sure you include your server and your summoner name, though, because that's how I'll gift you the champion. So the first thing is the splash art, which obviously has been leaked, unfortunately. So yeah, very vampire-esque. A lot of people were kind of focusing on her feet. I don't know why they're glowing. I think it's just the light in the scene. But just to say, she is shackled in default, and she uses her feet in normal combat. So that's probably why they're focusing on it a bit. But you'll see throughout the kit how that can change when it comes to the shackles. As always, the way that we're going to do this is I'll bring up the clip of each thing. So passive Q, W, E, R. I'll let the audio play 1 or maybe 2 times, depending how long the clip is, and then I'll explain what it is doing. The only weird thing is Riot hasn't kind of given us full HD versions of everything. So you will see me up here in the corner. I don't want to kind of spread the footage too much, because it will then really make it look bad. So without much further ado, let's get into her passive, which is called Crimson Curse. So pretty basic, obviously, and I'll just move like that. There you go, that's a bit better. So this is Crimson's Curse. Passive is Briar's attacks and abilities apply a stacking bleed that heals her for a portion of the damage dealt. Perpetually hungry, she gains increased healing based on her missing health, but lacks innate health regeneration. She will also heal for any remaining bleed damage when a bleeding enemy dies. So just to explain it, she has no health regeneration. 0. So if she's standing on 50% health in top lane, let's just say, she will not heal like every other champion in the game does. She will not heal passively. She has 0. But what she has is, let's just say throughout a whole kit, but she heals a stupid amount. Like, that's what this whole champion is about. She's a vampire. She heals a crazy amount. So whenever she attacks something, it's applying a bleed, and she heals from the bleed. And again, if that enemy then dies, whatever, let's say there's 3 seconds left of the bleed, she will get that healing that she would have got if the enemy survived longer. So pretty basic, very vampire-esque. I will say a lot of talk in the dev meeting was mainly about 3 champions, in like kind of comparing her, and like the way that I've always learned champions is I kind of think, what is this new champion made of? She's made out of Warwick, Vladimir, and Aatrox. Those are the 3 biggest kind of like champions you can throw into a mixing pot, mix, and you'll come out and get Briar. So that's kind of where your headspace should be. The next ability is her Q, which is called Headrush. So again, pretty basic. It's a leap. So this is Briar leaps to a unit dealing damage as well as stunning them and breaking their armor. And then Briar will stop prioritizing enemy champion if she casts this ability on a minion or monster during the effects of Blood Frenzy, which I will say that's the next ability, and it's kind of like the craziest thing. And you'll get what that means momentarily. But in essence, they explained it. This is Jack's Q. The only advantage or bigger thing than Jack's Q is it stuns. So it's kind of the difference between old and modern. Old Jack's Q, Jack's Q, it just makes him jump. This is the same ability, but it's an added stun. And by the way, yes, you can jump to enemy champions as well. It doesn't say it here, that it won't see in the tooltip at the moment, but you can also jump to friendly units or friendly champions, I think. So you can use it as an escape as well. And again, realistically, the kind of second part to this, I might go back and explain, because the biggest thing that people were going to have to get their head around is the upcoming ability, which is the W, which is called Blood Frenzy / Snack Attack. Okay, so this is going to be quite a hard ability realistically to show in a clip. But basically, her shackle, which is called the pillory, is she leaps forward and shatters her pillory, entering a blood frenzy that causes her to relentlessly pursue the nearest enemy, prioritizing champions. While frenzied, she gains increased attack speed and movement speed, and her attacks deal damage in an area around her target. Briar can reactivate this ability when frenzied to take a chomp out of the target on the next attack, dealing additional damage based on their missing health and healing her on based on damage dealt. So just to explain, when you W on this champion, you don't control this champion anymore, in essence. You can't specifically move around the way you want. You have lost control. She is in a frenzy. So the only things that you can do, you can use the Q to redirect her. So let's say there's 2 champions and you jumped to one, but you actually want to focus the other one. You can't right click to go attack that champion. You've lost control. But if you Q, you can redirect her. And then if that then is the closest champion, then Briar will focus the closest champion. When it comes to how much attack speed, etc., that she's getting and movement speed, Riot August basically said it's very like Master Yi, but without the CC immunity or the slow immunity. So yeah, she gains a stupid amount of attack speed, movement speed. Like, you realistically cannot really get away from this champion. Just to also make it clear, when you will W, I'm pretty sure she will just hunt whatever the nearest champion is. So if you're jungling on this champion, you press W, you're going to lose control and she's going to run into whatever the nearest champion is. And there is only one way you can get out. Well, there's 2 ways that you can get out of it, which I'll explain. It's not pressing W again. That's just doing an additional extra move. It's a chomp, like a vampire. That was how they explained it. And the Q does not get her out of it. What gets her out of it is her E, which is called Chilling Scream. So kind of like a, dare I say, a bit more of like a banshee move rather than a vampire. But this is Briar refocuses her mind, removing blood frenzy and channeling energy into a powerful scream that damages and slows enemies. While charging, she takes reduced damage and heals for a portion of her max health. A fully charged scream knocks back, dealing additional damage and stunning enemies that hit a wall. August kind of put this to Aurelia W. It's kind of similar to that. So you can just like press it very quickly just to get rid of blood frenzy, but that wouldn't give you the other benefits. But at least you could get control back of your character. Or if you're feeling like, oh, I can stand still, charge it up, you're taking less damage anyway, and then you can get the knockback and even the stun effects, and obviously healing more as well from the damage. So this, by the way, is the only way you can get out of blood frenzy other than dying. So you either die or you use your E. And obviously, if you don't time your abilities well or whatever, you might not have E up for 10 seconds by the time you use blood frenzy. So you're just stuck. You're basically a passenger while that is going on. Yes, you can still Q to jump. You can still use W to get an additional damage. But that's about it. You don't have full movement of your character. And then the ultimate. So if you didn't think it was crazy enough that you're going to basically lose control of your own character, wait till you hear the ultimate, because it's even crazier. The ultimate is called Certain Death, and that probably gives away what's going on. So here we go. So yeah. So Certain Death is okay, like, I know a lot of people are going to react to this because I reacted to it in the dev meeting. So Briar kicks a hemolith, which I guess is a big like structure thing, marking the first champion hit as her prey. She then beelines straight to them, fearing other surrounding enemies on arrival, and enters a state of complete hematomania. Basically the blood frenzy, but even more. She will pursue her prey until one of them dies, gaining the effects from blood frenzy, as well as additional armor, magic resist, lifesteal, and movement speed. Okay, so again, the weird thing with this so far is they've explained it, but they haven't fully. This is the benefit of being part of the dev meeting, because this clip does not do justice what this is doing. This ultimate has near a global range. Yes, you heard me right. So it's a skill shot. It's basically like a Ziggs ultimate. Like it's a missile that she has to land, but it's got a pretty big AoE to hit. And the enemy will be warned against it, kind of like a Scion ult. There's a global sound that goes off. And obviously it is a projectile, so you could flash out the way or whatever. But it is near global. August explained if you're in mid lane, it's global. If you're in top lane, you can hit mid. If you're in bot lane, you can hit mid. But yeah, it's kind of like Twisted Fate ultimate range, which is obviously very large. And she will literally, from wherever she is in the map, if she's in mid and something's happening in bot lane and she lands the ultimate, it hits somebody, she flies up into the air and goes straight to that player. And then all bets are off. One of you is going to die. That's kind of the vibe. Now, in the dev meeting, I will say, I kind of was led to believe you cannot cancel the ultimate blood frenzy, but looking at this, you can. Right there, she used the chilling scream, and it looks like she got out of it, so I don't know if that was changed, but yeah, maybe you can get out of it, but it's basically a more powerful blood frenzy. You're gaining even more lifesteal, more movement speed, more armor, magic resist, so you're tankier in this version of blood frenzy as well. But I can just see this being, I think like a lot of people, a potential absolute nightmare. Like, this is the more jungle element of this champion, because if she's in the jungle, she can just do this from anywhere and you don't know where she is. And it's a very powerful gank tool, obviously. And, you know, it's a very powerful, even mid to late game team fighting ability. It's a massive fear. Think of like a Hecarim fear. It can disrupt a massive fight. She's landing into the middle, hopefully on the AD carry, and then everything around gets feared away. That's very powerful. But yeah, this champion, I would say it's quite a bare bones champion in quite a few ways. In essence, she is predominantly a right click auto attacker, but she has other elements that, you know, kind of aids to upping her difficulty a little bit, but I wouldn't say her difficulty is going to be that hard anyway. But yeah, the as I said at the beginning, the potential for this champion to be League's most crazy champion, I think, is actually very, very high. And I don't like to be negative straight away, but I honestly think she's going to be an absolute balanced nightmare. That is my prediction. One thing we've also got as a little bonus I can show is we've actually just got a long form gameplay clip. So just to give you an idea of what it's going to feel like in the jungle, this one is HD, which is nice. So just thought we'd go over it. So you can see she is using her Banshee, or her E. I keep calling it Banshee Scream because that's what it feels like to me. But her Chilling Scream, she's using it for jungle clear. This is what like an engage is going to feel like. So yes, she is very melee. She has a few things to stay on people, but people can get away. And then, yeah, so they are showing her obviously predominantly in the jungle because that is where she's designed to be. But they have said top lane will be her secondary role. As for item build, etc., think of this champion as a high-risk bruiser is how they explain it. She's not an assassin, even though she might look like one. She is more of a bruiser, so she will be building. That's the ultimate, by the way, and certain death, boom, she's now in the fight, and there you go. So she's more of a bruiser, so think of building, you know, Blade the Ruined King, Black Cleaver, stuff like that, maybe even a little bit of tankiness, Iceborne Gauntlet, potentially. Conqueror is most likely going to be the easy rune of choice. So she's not assassin, she is bruiser, but a high damage, high risk bruiser, you could say, because she, again, has no innate healing from regen. It's all about staying on top of people to get any type of healing, more than any other champion in the game. So you can see she's dueling a Gwen, a lot of mobility from both of those champions. And then, yeah, her jungle clear, I will say, again, her jungle clear may be a weaker point of hers of being, like, full AoE, because obviously she doesn't have crazy amount of AoE in her kit with auto attacks, etc. So I don't even know, maybe even a Tiamat item could work on her. But overall, she she looks a little bit strong. You can see this build that they're like finishing off. They've got Bork, Divine Sunder, a Wit's End. Looks to be building a Thornmail now. The one thing I would say when it comes to counterplay that even August himself said, Thornmail is the ultimate counter to her in early lane phase. So, you know, kind of like a Fiora, you rush a Bramble. August basically made it very clear, just buy a Thornmail. Even if you're not a full tank and you can't proc the hard CC all the time, he was just like, just buy it. It's going to make her laning phase so much more difficult. Because again, she's got no passive regen, and that's obviously for top lane. It still will be effective if you're playing against her in the jungle, but obviously if she's playing in the jungle, she's not having to only fight 1v1 in top. But yeah, let me know what you think. I do think she's going to be probably fun, and I know I've mentioned it a few times, but the best way to define a Riot August champion is they're really fun to play, and that's what he does very well, but they're a nightmare to play against, and this goes with that recipe. That's what I would say. It kind of is a standard August champion that it's really fun, and I'm sure the people that pick up this champion and they main this champion, they're going to have a blast. But I imagine there's going to be kind of that disrupted community feel of like, oh god, that champion again, or here we go. So we'll see what it's like. Let me know what you think of her down below. Not that difficult to understand in a way, but yeah, the whole fact that, you know, you don't have control of your own character sometimes is quite interesting. I think obviously where this kind of two things of where this champion kind of originally came from, I think was the Renata ultimate. That was like obviously the first time massively in League that made friendly champions attack friendly champions. So that was kind of the idea of, oh, you're losing control of your character. She can't attack friendly champions, by the way. But that was kind of, I think, part of the beginning of this champion. But they actually said part of this champion's kit was, I think they said it was potentially in Neferi, the last champion that got released, but it didn't quite suit her, so they put it in this champion instead, which I can kind of see that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm going to give away the champion and the launch skin. All you got to do is be subscribed, like the video, and comment what you think. Make sure you include your summoner name and your region. But yeah, honestly, let me know. Let's try to hit, 300 likes on this video would be amazing. But yeah, thanks again to Riot to give me the information for free, and the dev meeting's always fun. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what the community takes of Briar. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal